It's today. It's today, the live stream. Hi. It is today. I've had a comment. Is it today or next week? It is today. Oh, let me just turn on my... let's turn on get some light. It is today. It's today. Apologies. I had to change it from last week. So it is today. Foal, whoever you are, Foal, I can see your message. It's today. It's today. It's now. I'm 7 minutes late though, so apologies for that. And I'm going to be kind of clock watching a little bit, only because we are having now I'm going to say this, probably going to be wrong. I think an eclipse of the moon or something. The moon is going to be doing something pretty funky cool. And I want to make sure that I'm ready to go see that. So I will be going to see that and doing other things as well. But yes, it is today. It is the live stream today. Last week of the Summer of Singing, hashtag Summer of Singing. Many apologies for not going live last Sunday as planned. Life happened. Life happens. It happens for all of us, and it happened for me, and I just had to delay it to this week. And yeah, so having it this week. No warm-ups today, just a Q&A. Oh my gosh, that rhymes. No warm-ups today, just a Q&A. So I've got some questions here. If any other questions pop up in the little comments section, then I shall answer them too. But yeah, I thought I would start by summarizing what exactly we have experienced for the hashtag Summer of Singing. It's basically a 4-week singing course that you have just completed. If you have done, if you've seen the lives, I was going to say some of them have been released as videos and some of them have been released as non-chat videos. There's still the hi Kay, lovely to see you. There's still the final Summer of Singing to come out. That's coming out. I'm editing at the moment. That's hopefully coming out on Friday. But so we had all 4. We had power, we had placement, we had shape, and we had sparkle, the magic dust. The 4 pillars, the 4 fundamentals, the 4 essentials of good singing. So my whole plan behind that was to give a music course, a singing course. So a basics, how to sing. That is how you sing. 4 weeks to absolutely grow your voice. So I would recommend, if you want to grow your voice, doing those 4 routines as often as you want, because the first one, I'm going to work on the power. Second one, I'm going to work on the placing of the sound, then the shaping of the words, and then the little sparkle magic dust at the end. Let's recap then, if I can find it in my notes, of when we did power. So power, first fundamental of good singing, all about the breath. I cannot emphasize strongly enough how the breath is everything with our singing so many times. And in fact, this is questions that I've got for the Q&A for today. It's all about breath, or at least the answer's all about breath. There's so many times with my private students, with my asynchronous students, with other people that just are querying and asking me about their singing, it's most often that they just need a little bit more breath support. Because what does the breath do? As our first question for this little Q&A, what does the breath do in our singing? It's the power. So if you think of us like a car, think of singing like a car. I'm trying to think of a better analogy, but that's it. The breath is the petrol, is the gas, is whatever it is that goes in, the electricity. If you've got a fancy electric car, it's whatever goes in to drive the car. So the breath is the thing that is driving our singing, and it needs to function efficiently, like petrol. I mean, I've got a petrol car, so that's the one that I'm going to be using, but that like it does for a car. You don't go and just waste lots of petrol. The right amount is released for the amount that you are accelerating. Same for the breath. With the breath, the reason I do the choo-choo train sound so often, feel free to do one if you want, but the reason that I do them is to really feel. Stand up. See, hands here. You can feel all of the muscles. So there's the muscles in your tummy. That's where I feel it, or it's the muscles in the ribs. So yesterday I had my members only live stream with Chorus Club and Solo Club members on this channel. Check out my memberships. They're pretty cool because normally it's members that get live streams every single week. This was just a fun little extra for something. But anyway, in our members only live stream yesterday, one of my lovely Chorus Club members was saying was questioning. It suddenly twigged for them that it was the ribs. They felt it in their ribs. They felt the breath. They felt the strength in the ribs. And that has happened also for one of my private students. My gosh, I'm going to do another plug. I've got spaces for singing lessons, alice@musicformy.co.uk. First free 20-minute trial, first of all, to see what it's like. And then, anyway, they've said, one of my private students has said that they feel it in their ribs. So you may feel it in the ribs. If you just take a big breath in, ribs expand, tummy expands, everything is held in that big space so that the lungs can float freely, so that you can ride on that cushion of air. You can bounce on the cushion of air. And as you are singing, it's just like a bellows action. It's kind of like, just riding, just always, la 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 la, always having air, never running out of air, never getting to, never running out of air at the end of a phrase. Another thing just suddenly came to me. Don't hold your breath. I've had a couple of students recently, and the issue has been holding the breath. The breath must always flow. The breath always it's always flowing through the chords. It has to flow through the chords because that's how you make the sound. So you're never holding it here, even though you are holding support, I suppose. So even though I will say to you, engage the muscles, hold it open kind of thing, the actual lungs are constantly pushing air, breathing air, having air flowing through the chords. It's a very weird concept, but the more you do things like lip bubbles, do things like the choo-choo train sounds, it'll click. Honestly, it will click. Speaking of lip bubbles, think of them as a breathing exercise. Any SOVT, think of them as a breathing exercise. They will 100% improve your breathing. Your breathing will, and quickly, pretty quickly. Lip bubbles, you can even just do them, sirens like that. Lovely scales. I tend to do, don't I? For those of you that have been here a while, just arpeggios. But you could do anything. We could do 5-note scales. We could do any of the patterns that I normally do. Wow, you're going to feel it there. You're going to feel it in your powerhouse doing that one. What's the other lovely pattern I do? arpeggio. Yeah, lip bubbles for anything. Do the lip bubble as your kind of as part of your practice for whatever song you are singing, whatever it is. It could be opera, it could be pop, it could be folk, it could be metal, whatever song it is. Sing the melody to a lip bubble. That's going to strengthen your breath. Absolutely. So Somewhere Over the Rainbow, etc. Whatever the tune is. Happy birthday. Feel the breath. Honestly, feel the breath for SOVT. Lip bubbles, tongue trills, puffish, any SOVT. So yeah, so in that first session, that first power session, just to recap, we built our breath, we did choo-choo train sounds, we did lots of lovely lip bubbles, the legato staccato combination, love it. We did a wow 5-note scale. We did the he octave arpeggios. That was a workout, wasn't it? He. God, that's going to give you strong abs. A who. All of this was getting the breath flowing. Who 5-note pattern, and then final breath. So that was a fabulous session. Go back and catch up on it. There's also the video edit and the no chat edit, because remember, for all of my videos, they start off first of all as live streams. Summer of Singing was with everybody. Normally they are live streams just with my membership, with my chorus club, and with my solo club members. They are then edited down into my full-length videos, which have tips and tricks and little singing anecdote things to basically help you. It's a singing lesson and a warm-up in one. And then I further edit the video into no chat, because quite often we don't have time, or we don't want the chat, or we've done the warm-up already and we just want to get to the exercises. So I do that too. So the next one that we did was placement. So forming vowels inside our mouths. So things like R, E, U, E, O, anything without a consonant. The actual part, in terms of singing, the part of singing where the sound is carried, where we make the sound. So the consonants will create the words for the audience, but it's always the vowel that we want to get to quickly, get through the consonants. Having said that, there's always exceptions with singing, and there are some songs, certain songs where the consonants have the emphasis, but most of the time you are getting to the vowel and you are finding the most beautiful vowel. The clearest example I can give for you for this is the word me, which is sung very, very often in both musical theatre and in pop music and in opera and in all music. The word me, M-E, me, myself and I. Now, when saying the word me, it's very E, isn't it? E, it's an E vowel, quite shrill, dare I say it, calling my voice shrill, vibrating through here, me. There's a very famous meme that comes about every May, and it's Justin Timberlake when he was in NSYNC, and the song is it's gonna be me, but he sings it's gonna be me. He sings May, a vowel. In Wicked, sometimes it's me. They change it to an A sound. And then the other great example that I love is from The Little Mermaid. It's from the new Little Mermaid film, and it's Eric, who's fantastic, but he quite often he flip-flops in between an E and an A vowel. Yeah. Oh, and we touched on it as well in the video. I probably mentioned this again, this example, but in The Greatest Showman, in the all that shines a thousand spotlights, all something steals from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough, never. For me, she goes May, and I prefer to go me. I would love a me, but she goes May. But it's fine. They are manipulating the vowel to make the best sound that they can. And in the popular context, so in that it's the power. They want all the power, and going is you're going to get a better belt. They're going it gets really shrill and tight and horrible. So So my advice would be, don't be afraid to play around with vowels, and please do not think that you need to sing in the same way that you speak. We're always playing with vowels. Quite often with my students, I'm dulling the vowel. This week, a couple of my students, I've asked them to imagine that there's a kind of a tunnel at the back of their throat to kind of get that dopey, dopey sound. And I did an exercise with one student to be thinking of an E vowel at the back, ooh, but with an oo at the front, ooh, to try and find this position in their voice for the best possible vowel, for a richer sound. Have a play is my point to all of that. So so with placement, we looked at the English vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Those are as they are pronounced in the alphabet. Of course, for each of those vowels, there are millions of different ways of pronouncing them. A can be A, can be A, can be can be there are lots of different ways. We just looked at A, E, U, U, and then we did I and O, I, O. But just have a play. So we did lots of slow 5-note scales in that one. This is the place session. Alternating, and then we did a la and a la. No, a la and a la. La and a la. A le and a lu. An exercise I've not done for a while, but I do have on my channel is Google Gore to arpeggios. So they're all O's. I mean, if you were to write Google Gore, you could write them all exactly the same. All O, the letter O vowels, but pronounced differently. Go, go. The British Isles is fantastic, and I'm sure wherever you are from in the world, you've got different accents. Probably in the next town, in the next village, we certainly do. In the UK, everyone has different accents, and there are many different ways to pronounce things, and that's fantastic. So maybe, I mean, I can obviously relate much more to British accents. So sometimes I might be singing and channeling someone from Yorkshire with that kind of placement, like Yorkshire, a bit yawny. Apologies to any people from Yorkshire. With singing, we do like to stereotype slightly. It is from a training point of view, and it's absolutely nothing to do with. We're not actually doing any impersonations of anyone from anything, any place. We are finding the vowels in our throats. So I'm just trying to think of doing a Welsh placement or a Welsh word that I do sometimes. I do sometimes So Calan is a Welsh song, and it's I don't be, no, I think I sing it. I think I sing it quite an English accent actually. I'm trying to think of an example. Another example of I sing in French and I sing in Italian with my opera. I will do a very bad impression of a French person or an Italian person when I am singing, you know, French, kind of like an Emily in Paris type accents. Yeah. 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 But it's good. It helps. And they all do it. All the opera people are constantly doing bad impressions of accents. When they sing, it helps. It helps. My point with all of this is find strange vowel sounds and run with it. Run with it. It's fun. So that's placement. Then we looked at shape and how we formed those words. And that is to do with having agility in our tongues, having good technique with our teeth and with our lips as well, having agility, being able to move quickly through these words. Thus and tuz and shiz, and was and cuz and huz, all those sort of placements in our voice. And I touched on briefly the different places that those consonants fall in our voices. So we have some that are formed at the front of our mouths, some that are formed in the middle, and then some that are formed at the back. So at the front, we've got M's, m's, we've got th, we've got n's, and then in the middle, we've got d, we've got sh, and then at the back, g, hard g, and a h, a who. That's very, very low down. So I looked at that, just being conscious of where they are, how they are, because things at the back can trip you up. A g, or a h, or a go, or a h, or a yeah, things at the back can trip you up. Things at the front can trip you up, though, can't they? And as singers, we want to get to the vowel as quickly as possible, and we don't want to be tripped up because that's going to cause us all sorts of problems. The consonants are going to cut the sound. That's what they do. They cut the breath flow from here. They cut it and do all that. So yeah, get through it really quickly, place it really, really clearly. But also sometimes with singers, with my singers, I will soften it slightly. When you walk through a storm, rather than when you walk through a storm, when you walk, just soften that with that word. When you walk through a storm, and the through a storm, hold your head up high. Get through the consonants quickly. That's my point. Oh, and in that video as well, we did in that exercise, we did 1 1 2 1 1 2 3 2 1. Great fun. And the tip of the tongue on the teeth and the lips. Tongue twisters are very, very good. I have said it many times in previous videos that my favorite tongue twister is red lorry, yellow lorry. I cannot do it. I did tease my 7-year-old nephew. I was like, it's the hardest one in the world. He went, what? No, it's not. And then he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it fast. He got completely tripped up because, yeah. And then finally, we looked at sparkle. Sparkle, magic dust, finer touches, the things that takes your singing from good to great. This is where there's this phrase, isn't there, that you separate the wheat from the chaff. This is where the good singers excel. They really they find their sparkle, they find the magic dust, and that can be their tone, it can be their so the way they sing. So if I'm thinking of like people like Billie Eilish, she has Kay's good with tongue twisters. I'm really not at all. That's why I always do the tip of the tongue, the teeth, and the lips, because I'm not at all. But Billie Eilish has that very distinctive that breathy tone, which is just absolutely gorgeous. That's her sparkle. There are other singers with very distinctive styles, distinctive tones, and that's theirs. they've basically found their voices and are confident in it and are running with it. And because they've found their voices, their phrasing's better, their style is better, the color is better, and those are the three things that I looked at in the Sparkle warm-up. Color, so obviously, you know, I can sing a rainbow, it's very, very true, sing a rainbow. So, you know, it is like colors. You know, you think of warmth and think of cold, you think of light, you think of shade, you think of bright, you think of dark. These are sounds that we can create in our voice. If we would go at its most basic, bright sounds would be up here. Hello. Oh, that's one of the Muppets, isn't it? Which Muppet's that? Is that Elmo? Hello? Really, really high. Anyway, that's one of the Muppets. One of the Muppets is really, really bright and high. And then you can be really down. And that's another color too, a kind of deepness. It doesn't have to be deep. It can still be high and deep. It can still be really high, but with a deep tone. Hello. And you can still be, and you can be lower, but be bright. You know, so just play around, play. That's different color. Style, so that's things like having breathiness in your voice. That's one of my Q&As as well. I get a question all the time. Is singing breathy bad? No, it is not. It is a style and it's fabulous. And it's just another trick in your tool belt as singers to bring through the right amount of breath, the correct's the word, the efficient amount of breath for that breathy style. So if you were to sing, Billy, I used to float, but now I fall down. Da, 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 da. Just do a da 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 to get it. Da, 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 da. Da, da. So where am I feeling it up here? You yeah, just have a play with that. But the breathiness might be, oh hello, it might be deeper and getting more breath through. Practice is the answer to get good at voices. Just play around, and you can get a thing and you could sing back here. There are singers who sing like this, and they've got their, what have they got? They've got their hard, soft palate is lifted, but they've got this weird space at the back. Oh my gosh, who's the singer? Oh, Paolo Nutini. I need to remember how he sings. It's like a kind of he's got some of that in his voice. I'm gonna have to no, I'm gonna have to, this is really annoying me. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to him. I have seen him at a festival once, but I cannot remember. But I do know that his voice is really distinctive, and I'm gonna have to go back. Paolo Nutini. Look up Paolo Nutini. Listen to his voice. That's very distinctive. Also look up Duffy. Duffy's got a very, and then I'm begging you for mercy. She sings like that, but it's for mercy. She goes like that, and it's all very, I got you. It's a little bit creaky, little bit kind of, but I wanna do, please, yeah. So she's found a kind of like a hey, that sort of place. It's a belty sound with a bit of vocal fry, with some nasality, and she sings it there. Metal singers are amazing at controlling their vocal fry. I would love to learn how to do that. Where does it? It's like, oh no, I'm not. I'm gonna stop. There's a video I watched, and it was actually similar to me. It was someone who's opera trained, who's classically trained, and they are having coaching with a metal singer. And you're supposed to do a vocal fry sound while also thinking of Marge's sisters, you know, from The Simpsons. And they're like this, aren't they? Hey, hi, Marge, what are you doing? So maybe it's one. Is that metal? Is that metal? No, it's not. It is an awful sound, but I want to practice it. So I will practice. I'll do some more research and practice into how to sing metal, because yes, it's a lot of noise for lots of people, but there is huge artistry behind it. And I've got massive admiration for the metal singers, for all singers. All singing is incredible. I was listening to something last night, and I can't tell you what it was. It was amazing. But it was on Radio 3. I'll remember. I'll put the notes. But it was a folky art song, and the singer, she just had such a pure tone. It was kind of like, I get it, whatever it was. She was singing la 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 la, and the music was just a semitone, just a half step out. So it did sound very discordant, very not, it wasn't out of tune. It sounded like that though at times, but very deliberate. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I just love hearing all singers, because I just think singing is incredible, isn't it? I know I'm biased, but singing is incredible. So yeah, that's cool. Kate Bush, she's very distinctive in her color. Windy moor, sweet rolling, all up here, lingering. You had it very, very up here. She's one of my favorite singers. Tori Amos is another one of my favorite singers. So she uses her breath and her breathing as her instrument. She's her full instrument, as does Mike Patton. I don't think I've talked about my favorite singers actually recently, but Mike Patton, who most famous from being in Faith No More, but has been in many, many other bands, and has now gone, well, his whole career he's exploring and working on his voice, and he uses his voice as a full instrument. There's this one song which I love, and he's breathing in the rhythm. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. So yeah, that's a cool thing to do, a cool way to use the voice, cool color. I think this video is going to be me just going but no mind. Again. I'd love to know who your favorite singers are. Let me know. There are so many. And that's why it's so interesting recently with musical theatre and the new productions of certain musicals. So there's been Jesus Christ Superstar with Cynthia Erivo at the Hollywood Bowl. So her take on Jesus, traditionally a male role. Well, obviously it's Jesus, male role. And she's now sung it, put her spin on it, which is I really enjoyed. I thought it was good. I think I said previously I went to an all-girls school, and we did Jesus Christ Superstar. So obviously all the parts were sung by girls, and it was cool. It works. I love it. I want to sing it. I want to sing Judas. I want to sing Jesus. Well, Jesus Gethsemane. It's amazing. Yeah. So that's cool. So I was all for that. It was great. But then I did compare it to previous productions, so the John Legend production, and then the original version with Carl Anderson as Judas. Best songs. Recently, I saw Evita at the Palladium in London, and I didn't see Rachel Zegler. I saw her. I mean, would you call them an understudy? Are they still called understudies? I saw the second Evita. Fantastic voice, fantastic. But I am sure that Rachel Zegler approached it differently, because we're all unique individual voices, and that is fabulous. And if you think of all the covers that people do of various songs and make it their own, bring their voice to it, it's great. Birdie! Kay's just mentioned Birdie. Oh my gosh! What's the birdie song that I love? Oh, this is gonna annoy me too. I'm gonna have to think of the birdie song. It's that birdie song, and I don't know when it came out, but it was when I used to watch X Factor and those TV shows. By the way, X Factor, that's a whole other conversation for another day. So they are slightly fake, but there was a time when everyone was singing that birdie song as their audition piece, and it was cool. Cynthia Erivo is incredible. It's her color, it's the soul in her voice, and that is why I am obsessed with Wicked. I love her interpretation of Elphaba. I love that she has been allowed to make Elphaba her own. Quite often certainly in opera, it's strict. The music is there, written on the page. The composer has said exactly what they want. The conductor then comes in and says exactly what they want. The director then comes in and says exactly what they want. As a singer, you are last, unless you are like mega famous and you are a traditional diva. What is a traditional diva? They are just someone that was confident, that had gained a reputation of quality, of brilliance. The term being a diva has got a bad reputation, comes off as being fussy and whatever. No, a diva was someone like at the top of their game, the prima person, the prima ballerina, the diva in opera. They're the number one, they're the best, and they possibly could have had input into how they wanted to sing the roles, but normally the performer is last in the big long list, and they do as they're told. It's a job. They do what they're told, and so yeah, they sing the songs as they are told. And I know that because especially in Wicked, Mary Kate, what's her surname? She did a video and comparing how, the riff at the end, that the famous riff from Wicked, which Cynthia Erivo does change. Yeah, you're not allowed to change the riff in Wicked. And not allowed. Not allowed. It's such a well-known riff. That's what the audience wants. I get that. I'm glad that Cynthia Erivo was given the opportunity to put her own spin on it. I'm going to go over a few more free questions. Oh, just quickly to summarize then what we did for Sparkle. Yes, we did. We looked at color, we looked at style, breathy, and then we looked at phrasing. So phrasing is linked with breathing. That's coming in nice and smooth at the beginning of the phrase, at the beginning of the verse, at the beginning of the sentence, at the beginning of the word, and tailing it off at the end. And we looked at some patterns, and we looked at putting some little Broadway spins. So starting off with a nice strong tone, and then bringing in some vibrato at the end of it. That one I found very, very hard because I'm used to just doing vibrato all the time. But yeah, that's phrasing, telling the story. And you can tell the story with normal pop songs as well as with musical theatre songs too. So that's to summarize what we did in the Summer of Singing. A few questions that came from that. How to do these are the most common questions are how to do the lip bubbles and the lip trills. I have some students that do this, that stick their fingers in and will go, just find it easier. No, you can't do that for that. If that works for you, that's fine. I find that the easiest way for me to do it is just to go B-R, burr, like Aaron Burr from Hamilton, burr, 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 and then your lips vibrate. Remember, it's a skill. Singing is a skill. It'll get better with practice. The lip bubble will get better with practice. I have a student now. I am so excited, a private student now, who, when I first met them, they couldn't do a lip bubble at all whatsoever. They just did this. And now they can lip bubble separately, which is even harder. arpeggios, and are getting stronger at the sustained. And I am so proud of them, because I know how difficult it is. But it just goes to show that anybody can do it. It's just a bit of practice. For the tongue trill, I like to just tuck my tongue behind my bottom lip and just spray. And that's where the vibration is. So the air kind of comes underneath the tongue, because I've clamped it with my top lip and my top teeth gently. And you just whack a hum behind it. Again, that is something to practice. Because blowing a raspberry, you actually stick it out, don't you? Oh, you kind of don't, actually. Just go around blowing raspberries, and then you'll find that's made me that's tickled, that it'll just come. It'll just come along. Tastes like the raspberries. They're really, really good. It's a good tongue tongue stretch, the raspberries. I love it. Other questions. What is support? Well, I explained that at the beginning. Support is the powerhouse. It's all the muscles that we have control over that surround our breath, our lungs, and everything down there. But we can't you can't think that the diaphragm is support, because it's not. The diaphragm is an involuntary muscle that just moves with the lungs. The muscles, the support muscles, are the tummy muscles, the intercostals in our ribs, the lower back muscles, the pelvic floor muscles, all of the muscles that we have around our lungs. They're the ones that we can engage. We feel them. We feel every single one of them, especially if you're sat down, by doing the choo-choo train sounds. So that is support. So every time you do a ch, and you feel that strength, ch, you feel everything kind of contract. Tummy, ribs, back, ch, lower back, ch, bum muscles, ch. That is support. So if I'm saying to you more breath on a video, on a lesson, if I'm saying support, anything like that, breath, I just mean engage those muscles, feel those muscles without having to do the choo-choo. It's the same thing. You just take your breath in, feel those muscles like you do with the choo-choo, and hold those muscles. Control those muscles. You are going to collapse. The breath will collapse eventually. Of course it will. You never hold your breath, and you can't hold that support indefinitely, but just have them engaged throughout your singing. It'll strengthen your singing. That is support. How to breathe. But surprise breaths. One of my students as well, when they first started having lessons with me, they would breathe through their nose, which every now and then is okay, but it's not efficient. You want to be really, really efficient with your breath, so it does want to be through the mouth. And the most efficient way of breathing is taking surprise breaths, snatch breaths, quick breaths. It's called a surprise breath because it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you for ages. You know, when you're shocked, or you've seen a scary film, or someone's just come up behind you and just tapped you on the shoulder. And you're like, ah! That kind of, wow. What happens when you do that? The breath flows in really, really quickly, all the way down to the bottom, and fills your lungs. Another way of finding a quick surprise breath is to breathe out really, really slowly. Breathe out everything from your lungs, and then feel that rush of air flow back in. And then you just learn, you practice doing that, and in time, you can just do it without going, without making a noise with your surprise breaths. You can do it. Practice, practice, practice. Singing is a skill. Everything is a skill. Everything to do with singing is a skill. You can learn. You will get better with practice. Skills. Talent. Talent. Now, what is talent? Because, yeah, what is talent? Because every singer that you know, I do not believe was born that way, to quote Lady Gaga. I'm trying to think of an example. There are some singers that have never had singing lessons. The two famous ones I can think of are Shirley Bassey and Tom Jones, both amazing South Walians. And Shirley Bassey does not, she refuses to have coaching because she doesn't want to confuse her voice. Now, little points about them. So Shirley Bassey comes from Cardiff, comes from the Cardiff Bay. The way that her accent naturally is, the way that she forms her vowels and her sounds, yes, it lends itself to the type of singing that she does. So how she speaks, she can translate easily into singing just by engaging with the breath and having the breath flow. Same for Tom Jones. So the way that our natural voice is, the way that we speak, can either help or hinder us. But does that mean that you don't have talent if you can just sing without having to sing? No. Because all of the Broadway singers have had singing lessons and have just practiced. All the pop singers have been singing all their lives. They've practiced. The where their voice sits, it's just where they've been singing. It's just where they kind of it's how they can do it. I'm interested about this one, actually. I'm going to sit back and think about this one. Talent. What is talent? Are you talented, or have you just put the practice in when it comes to singing? Is Beyonce talented? Has she just put the hours in? Well, she's put the hours in. Talent. My problem with the word talent is that it puts so many people off. It thinks you're either talented or you're not. And that is not true when it comes to singing. Beyonce has worked so hard on her voice. She's worked so hard on her performance. She is the one that, this whole, have you heard about the 10,000 hours thing? She's put in the hours, she's put in the work. And that has brought her success because she's worked at it, and her voice is phenomenal for it. Same with Lady Gaga, same with so many singers, same even with the singers that are not the big power belty people, not like Celine Dion, not like the people, maybe Billie Eilish. Okay, so her voice is breathy and kind of restrained, but still so strong in the subtlety of it, that but she's put in the hours and the work and the effort, the amount of takes that she and Phineas would do for all their songs to get exactly what they wanted. So yeah, so let's not it's a difficult one, because of course people are there's talent, but you can practice and get talented through practice, is my point. I don't know, it's a deep philosophical discussion for me to just sit on and think on. Does talent exist? Are people talented, or have they just practiced loads? 10,000 hours. Kay's asked me for 10,000 hours. I first heard about this from my singing teacher, my last singing teacher that I had. And I've since Googled, and it was loads of people have questioned it. It was I think it was a businessman or someone, and they wrote a book about 10,000 hours being the magic number for becoming an expert, becoming a perfect, achieving a skill, achieving a goal. So 10,000 hours in sport, if you put 10,000 hours worth of practice into playing football, you'll become an expert footballer, a perfect footballer. You'll become amazing at football. If you put 10,000 hours into riding your bike, you'll be able to win the Tour de France, whatever, you know. And my singing teacher kind of said that to me when it comes to singing, and it taking 10,000 hours to of practice to become a singer, for singing to be easy. That's actually one of my questions later on, which I'll answer in a second. It's not true. It's not. There's no number. You can't put a number on it. For some people, they might get there quicker than others. But also, the thing is with singing specifically, and what I love and what I've taken huge comfort with, is that we are never, ever, ever fully formed. We are constantly growing as we get older, because our body is our instrument. It is going to change as we get older. Not necessarily for the worse, for the good. It's a constant growth, a constant exploration. We always have the option to improve in our singing. That is why so many of the professional performers, whatever their instrument, whether it's singing, whether it's piano, trumpet, whatever, the professionals are looking to go to even as low as 60% in their performance. If they can get to 60% of their happiness in their performance, they are happy with that. No one can ever perform at 100%. It's impossible. You can't. Perfection does not exist. Doesn't exist with singing, doesn't exist with any music or anything like that. It is interesting. Hello, Bill Clinton. Hello. Hi. So yeah. How to do that? What is support? How to breathe? What is mix? I want to quickly talk about. I've spoken about breathy singing bad. What is mixed voice? That is another really, really common question. I'm going to have to wrap it up shortly, but I'm going to quickly talk about what is mix, and then a little bit more about when will I get better at singing. Mixed voice is doing the rounds at the moment, certainly with all the vocal coaches that I follow and lots of my students, talking about finding their mix. And I would bet that you're already singing in a mixed voice, because it's not black and white. Chest resonance and head resonance. We have our break in our passaggio. Yeah, so sometimes you can feel a kind of jolt, like and it'll flip to head voice. I can't do a flip because I can't. Yeah, I can't. But you're always going to be mixing. Even that is mix. It's got more. That's probably strong. That probably is just pure. That could be pure. That could be pure chest voice. But to be honest, I've got quite heady overtones in my speaking voice. La, la, la. There's a nasal mix. La, la. There's a heady mix. La, la. There's a deep and sultry mix. La. There's another mix. My point is that mixed voice is like making a cake. There are many different recipes, and you are constantly going to have different weights of chest v head resonance, depending on the song you're singing, depending on the style you're singing, depending on your personal voice. As I said, mine is quite heady dominant generally. So let's not get so bogged down with what mixed voice is and finding our mixed voice. Let's just sing and do the exercises and practice, and what you will find is your voice settling, you becoming more confident with pulling on different parts of your voice, pulling on a little bit of head resonance here and then, pulling on a little bit of chest resonance here and then for whatever song you are singing. And quickly as well, terminology anyway with singing, all these different ways of these styles of teaching. You know, if you've been following my videos for a while, you know that I'm all about vowels and finding place and sound and color through vowels and through shapes here. rather than labeling anything. So labeling laryngeal tilt and labeling kind of the mask. Oh gosh, I grew up with the mask, finding the mask and things like that. And there are terms with a still technique. There are terms with there's other schools of thought for teaching singing. They're all completely valid, and that may absolutely work for you, because ultimately it's all the same thing. We're all teaching singing. For me, I struggled with all those terms. I didn't get it at all. But I do with practical exercises, so that's why I like to teach practically. But that's just me. It might not be you. That's okay. So yeah, finally, like we touched upon, when will I get better at singing? How long will it take? Can you give me a time frame? People have actually asked me this, and no, I can't. I cannot tell you when your voice is going to suddenly grow, because like I said, it's an everlasting journey. All our lives, our voices are changing and growing. And also, it just depends on how much work you put into it. So how often you practice, the quality of your practice, because, and that's why private singing lessons, the odd private singing lesson is a good thing, just so that you can have a teacher, a coach check in and see that you are placing your lip bubbles in the best possible place. Same with your vowel sounds. If there's anything for your particular voice, the way that your speaking voice is, any little adjustments to be made. So yeah, singing lessons, alice@musicformy.co.uk. Free 20-minute trial. Or check out the memberships, because my asynchronous people, my lovely asynchronous members, send me recordings of their singing, and I then send them back a personalized response with 2 exercises. So check out that membership as well. It's another way to have a little bit of vocal coaching, just a little bit of attention. Because yes, okay, you can watch my videos and do my videos and be absolutely fine. Of course you can. And if you did them daily, fantastic. It's nice to have rest days in the same way that you go to the gym. It's nice to have a rest day. I'm on holiday tomorrow, so I won't be singing for a week. And that's cool. Not from tomorrow, from Tuesday. That's going to be nice to just properly relax and not sing. It's good for us. It's very, very good for us. Good to switch off. I'm going to have to go, because I would chat for days, as you know I would. But it's been an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. And that is the end of #Summer of Singing. I am sure I will do more general live streams in the future. I do plan, there'll be stuff coming up at Christmas. I'm sure there'll be stuff coming up at Christmas, and maybe some other times. But yes, thank you. I will have a great holiday. Don't worry, people that have missed me. Hello. Thanks for checking in now. Lovely to see people that have missed you. It's been a long, rambly one, but I've talked a lot. It's all talking, this video, all talking. It's advice, tips, advice, hopefully a little bit of pep talk as well about singing, things that are essential. Because yes, the warm-ups are great, and I know you all love my vocal warm-up videos. Thank you so much. I love making them for you. But it's also important for me as a vocal coach to coach you a bit as well, to help you with your singing as best I can. And you know, quite often that just means talking a lot, explaining things. So yes, right, I'm gonna go. I will sing with you soon. Bye. Bing.